Welcome back to another episode of In a Nutshell, How to Kickstart Your Career edition. And my name is Jamie Lim, and you can find me on YouTube and TikTok. In today's episode, we'll be learning how to ace your interviews so that you can secure your dream job. So tip 1 is to actually practice for your interviews. So what I would do is actually prepare 3 stories on what I have done before, any sort of conflicts I've been in for, how do I handle my stakeholders, things like that. And after I've written them down, I will actually practice reading them out. It's very different from writing something and actually verbally saying it out. So definitely put in time to practice. Tip 2 is to get to know your interviewers. Go on LinkedIn, learn about your interviewers, what their interests are, what's important to them, especially at work. When you know a little bit more, say if your interviewer is interested in diversity and inclusion, talk about a project you have done maybe in that space, and once you share that with them, they'll be able to connect with you better. And likely, you will get a good rating on your interview. Tip 3 is to understand your push and pull factors. An interviewer will always ask you, hey, why do you want to leave this company, right? So make sure you have some stories prepared also as to why you want to leave. Tell them a bit more about your career aspirations, right? So it's important to make sure that you're prepared to answer these sort of questions. Tip 4 is to actually ask questions during the interview. When you're interviewing with a company, remember that you are also interviewing them. One thing I always like to ask is like, hey, what is your favorite thing about working here at this company? Another question I like to ask as well, especially to my potential hiring manager, is what is your managerial style? Think about these sort of questions and you yourself will understand whether you want to actually work in this company or not. Another tip to find out more about the company's culture is to actually go to websites like Glassdoor or Indeed, where people can actually leave reviews of the company they have been at or they are currently at. So that will be a good gauge, I think, of how it's really like to work in the company. Honestly, you won't really know until you are in the company, but you should be able to get a sense of things. Another way to do it as well is to talk to people who are actually there. Talk to your friends who are there, those people you trust. So interviewing is a very tiring process, so it's very understandable if you get rejected for multiple companies, right? And it can be very demoralizing. I would say change your mindset a little bit. Think about it as like practice for, when you get the right job, you will have practiced enough and you'll be able to do it well. Another thing I like to do as well is to actually ask the company or the interviewer for feedback through an email. If they send you a rejection email, try to understand why you were not a fit for the role, and from there pick up on how you can actually improve and nail your next interview. Another tip would be to get a third person who is objective to look at your CV as well as all the different jobs you have applied for, and perhaps they'll be able to give you some perspective on what jobs you could potentially be applying for. Maybe there is just a mismatch or something that you don't really know about. So that's all for this episode. In the next episode, we'll be learning about how to navigate through a new company when you've just joined. My name is Jamie, and in a nutshell, this is how you kickstart your career.